Welcome back to the Lore and Valor podcast. Joining me again tonight is my friend and independent filmmaker Sam Platiski, and we are here to talk to you about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. As always, when we talk about films and streaming and TV, there will be spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, it's worth watching. I think it's worth watching. It's definitely worth seeing. But we'll get into our feelings on it in detail now. So Sam, I'll let you lead off. What's your bottom line up front on Doctor Strange before we start nitpicking it?
I liked it. It was fun. It was cool. It was like a Sam Raimi Marvel movie, Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, because we've had Sam Raimi Marvel movies before. I liked Doctor Strange. I liked some of the actors they cast in the cameos, and I enjoyed it. I'll watch it again. It's got flaws, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it also has like it follows Spider-Man No Way Home, which was another multiverse movie, which was much better. So it has to deal with that too.
Yeah, I hadn't even accounted for that. I guess it did have a tough act to follow. And especially since you said it was a Sam Raimi Marvel movie, and I agree so much in multiple different ways. I confess that actually it's not confess is the wrong word. I admit that when I was watching the opening sequence, I was like, oh, it's Spider-Man 4, like not that there was anything ripped off, just that the way it was shot and the way the action flowed and the Danny Elfman music, it's not the same music, but it's reminiscent enough that it was like, oh, I feel like this is almost and this is maybe appropriate for a movie about the multiverse. It's almost as if we get the MCU as if it was thematically linked to Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy. You know what I mean? Like that opening sequence especially made me feel that way. And then we also get Sam Raimi's signature over the top comedy horror throughout the film, which I appreciated. That part I appreciated too. But overall, I enjoyed it too, and I'll watch it again too. But I'm a little more bothered by what a mixed bag it is, I think. Like, I guess I'm fundamentally just a little more critical. I tend to gripe a little harder. Starting off with, in addition to loving Sam Raimi's tone, and we can get into specific details of how that worked, I thought all the performances were really on point. Like, everyone did a really good job, especially Elizabeth Olsen. As the bad guy. Yeah. Well, let's get that one out of the way.
Great. Yeah, and they did. That was like one of the most surprising things. Like right away, they were like, "Oh, you didn't tell me your name, did you?" I was like, "Oh, fuck!" Like I had a feeling she was going to become like bad at some point in the movie, but I didn't know they were going to just say from the top, "Yeah, she's the big bad." That was like, I was like, "Oh, fuck, here we go."
Yeah, I guess to their credit, they assumed the more hardcore fans were looking at the trailers and kind of anticipating that.
Yeah.
So they were like, yeah, no, you're right. She is. Yeah. Rather than having either a face heel turn or a big twist betrayal in Act 3 or between Act 2, like at the end of Act 2 going into Act 3, they were like, yeah, no, she's the big bad. Yeah. She's terrifying. And she is terrifying. Yeah. I don't know though. Like I both loved her performance, and I don't mind that Wanda's the villain per se, but I feel like it kind of undercut her arc in WandaVision to me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say that it does, because she was in a pretty good place, except for having the Darkhold. And if you want to be, I'm not going to say it's lazy filmmaking, but I mean, the only difference between like the end of her arc in WandaVision and now was she was reading the Darkhold, and evil book make evil mutant character, not mutant, but whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm okay with them doing it. It's fine. It's their thing, but I'm mixed because WandaVision was so good, and it was such a good arc for her.
Easily the best Disney Plus series. It's the only Disney Plus series I think I'll rewatch somewhat regularly.
Yeah. And I did rewatch it before Multiverse of Madness, and it holds up. Even the last episode, which people griped about, I still enjoy it. And it does. The whole movie undercuts that. Just, I want my kids.
Yeah.
What about Vision? Vision was a pretty big part of WandaVision. It was in the title. And you just like, you don't care about him anymore?
I mean, way to feed the men's rights activists, right?
Yeah.
or androids rights activists, I guess.
Yeah.
But seriously, like you're right. It's like Vision just does. You don't want to like you're not searching for a multiverse where or a universe where Vision and the kids are alive, but Wanda's dead because that's got to exist somewhere, and they'd probably be happy to have you.
Yeah.
Um,
I didn't even think about it, but yes, look for that universe.
yeah. Well, and like here's one. Like I think to say it would cure everything wrong with the movie is maybe going too far, but I think maybe this would have cured everything wrong with the movie. Is WandaVision ends in a very specific way where she's reading the Darkhold and she hears her children's voices calling out for help.
Mm-hmm.
That is unpaid off.
Yeah.
Right? Because her children are not in distress in Multiverse of Madness. Now,
not at all.
Wanda's turn to evil. I get that, it's like, oh, well, she was reading this evil, super powerful spell book that twisted her. It's like, okay, fine. I get that. But it would have been so much better, I think, if it were like, no, the children she created in WandaVision are real, do exist, and are in danger, and she's doing all of this terrible shit because she thinks she needs to save them, rather than I just want to kill another Wanda and take her place and have her kids.
And kill all of the people on my way there.
Yeah. Like, because it's like, if I genuinely needed to rescue my children, I could see myself doing some really terrible shit along the way if it was necessary. But just wanting to steal another version of my kids from another version of myself, that really does just make you it's like you're you're not even a sympathetic villain, you're just a villain. It would have been so much better, and they planted the seed in WandaVision. It was there already for them to take advantage of, to make it feel like, oh man, Wanda, don't do it, but I get it, versus like, oh Wanda, you're being a really selfish shit. You're acting really well. Like, you're a magnificent actress, but you're being a selfish shit.
And the whole thing, like, I need the power by myself, because what if they get sick? I need to find a world where I can get. Come on, I don't know. I don't know.
You're
That's
friends
a bit.
with. No, that. It was really, really, really.
That's one of the biggest major problems with the movie for me.
I'd say that's probably my number one. Everything else would bother me a lot less if it hadn't done that. And there's other stuff, but everything else would have bothered me a lot less if they'd handled that a little better. And speaking of, so America Chavez, I liked the actress. I don't mind the character, but I feel like she was very much a MacGuffin.
Sure. Yeah.
Like it was like they brought in this new character, and like her character development is, a bee made me disappear my mom's.
Yeah.
and I don't mind having LGBT characters in a movie. That's fine. But I feel like it was also, call me cynical about Disney, but I feel like that was shot in such a way that they could easily edit out that subplot for foreign markets that aren't as friendly. And I feel like that kind of cowardice always bothers me.
So I'm like, I'm with you there. And I think I could be wrong, but I think there's a trend now with Disney to move away from that, and all companies to move away from caring what the other markets think. Because
I hope they continue with it.
Because Spider-Man didn't play in China at all, and they still made billions
because
of dollars.
Of the Statue of Liberty, right? Like there was too much.
They wanted the entire Statue of Liberty taken out of the movie. And China's apparently getting real crazy with like what they will accept and what they won't accept now. They're pushing way too far. And a lot of these companies are saying, you know what, fuck it. Tom Cruise apparently had on his jacket, he had a Taiwan flag, and they were going to take it off. They said, fuck it, leave it on.
Well, because Tom Cruise has got that fuck you money. He's and I feel like maybe that I've heard, I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to. I'm definitely going to go see Top Gun 2 in the theaters, because you can be my wingman anytime. I love them. It's so cheeseball, and like he does 5 things in the first 30 minutes that would get him a court-martial. I don't care. I love it. It's one of those things. Sorry, we're tangenting on Top Gun, but it's one of those filmmaking, storytelling things that if you set your tone as such that you let me know not to care about stuff like that, I'll go with you. If you're like, this is not a serious courtroom drama.
This is where we are. This is the world you're in.
Yeah, this is the world
Enjoy
you're
it.
in, where this naval lieutenant can get away with this kind of crap. Yes, we all know he couldn't, but just go with us for this. And it's like, okay, I'm there. Let's shower up and play some beach volleyball.
That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah,
That's what it's
yeah.
all about.
But anyway, that tangent aside,
Yeah.
I'm glad to know that Disney is growing a spine when it comes
It
to the
looks like
Chinese
it. They
market.
also said to Saudi Arabia, no, we're not taking the moms out.
Yeah,
So
good,
good for them.
good. Like you should stand by your story.
Yeah.
You know, yeah,
Stand by your
as is.
creators. You know?
Yeah. So like, I thought the actress was problem with her. It's just I feel like, yeah, and I don't know, and that's one of those writing things where I'm like, I'm not sure how I would have given her an arc
Mm,
either. You know, so it's just one of those things that kind of stuck out to me as like, she's just kind of there.
yeah.
You know, and
And her powers are just, she's a Deus Ex Machina for like
yeah,
the whole
yeah,
thing. And
yeah, and I'll
again,
get to that. Go ahead.
no, I don't care about the character in the comics either, really. I've only read a few comics
Yeah,
with her in it, and it's just like,
I, I
you
haven't
punch
read a
through
single one with
dimensions.
her in it.
Yeah. Young Avengers. There's a Young Avengers run by Kieran Gillen where
Hmm.
she's pretty prominent. And
Okay.
I think in some kind of Avengers run.
Yeah.
But
I've
yeah.
heard accusations that she kind of took page time away from Bradley's grandson, Patriot, like the Elijah Bradley, like
Mhm.
that he was actually kind of the Captain America character, as you know, Patriot,
Yeah.
obviously. But that she kind of supplanted him in the story. But I haven't read the comics, so I
I
don't
don't
know.
it's been a while, but I don't think so. I
Okay.
mean, he's not like a major character. He's like they're pretty much equal
I
screen
mean, let's
time for
be real. The
everybody.
Young Avengers are not major characters to
No.
most people in general.
Yeah, no.
Like,
Most people don't know
yeah,
who they are.
yeah,
Even if they are introducing them slowly in
yeah.
this thing.
Yeah. So I
Uh
liked her, but underdeveloped, and I'm not sure how you would have developed her better. We'll get in. There's also issues with her in the climax of the movie, but I don't want to jump that far ahead yet.
yeah.
Um, I thought they did a good job writing Christine out of the story through this movie.
Yeah.
I thought that was
Like
pretty well handled.
and they made a point in like interviews to be like, this is what we needed to do,
Mm-hmm.
to get him to a point where he can like move on to
Yeah.
we'll get to that point too. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, so that romantic subplot was like, I was like, okay, I was okay with that.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, I feel like it's like, well, you cast Rachel McAdams, you know, do something with her.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I guess that was good.
Yeah. I'm
Um,
fine with that.
yeah, I, I think so I think we can go ahead and talk about the big reveals, but I feel like if there's a second problem, the first problem is Wanda, and I can
Mhm.
forgive a lot. The second problem is I feel like the studio's misunderstanding what the fans want with their big reveals.
Mhm.
You know, that it's like, oh, we have the Illuminati. Oh, cool. And we have Professor Xavier. Awesome. You snapped his neck again.
Yeah. Yeah. There's yeah. So, there's a lot that's wrong with that.
Yeah.
Uh, I guess since we're there, we can talk about that. And it's like you get the most powerful mind on the planet, in
In the
any of the
multiverse,
yeah,
probably.
and all he can think to do is wander around her mind and like try to pull out the other Wanda out of the wreckage. I mean, X-Men fans in general have seen Professor X fight on the astral plane. I know Patrick Stewart's old, but you can still put his head on a CG like astral plane armor. You
Yeah.
could like try to use his mind to like convince Wanda that she has what she wants, and that would have been a cool thing. Like, okay, she's in her own world now, but then she
Mhm.
figures it out, and then she can, do
Yeah.
something, make him like, cool. Don't just be
Yeah.
like, fucking cannon fodder,
Yeah.
because they were all cannon fodder.
They were. He's goddamn Charles Xavier, you
Yeah,
know, like,
yeah,
and that was, I knew that was one of the problems. And I was excited to see Krasinski as
sure.
Mr. Fantastic. Obviously, the fans have wanted that one for a decade,
And they
you know,
better
like,
bring him back.
yeah.
Not that version of him, but they
Yeah.
better bring him back for the MCU.
Well,
The
and same with
616.
Xavier, right? Like, I mean, they could go with McAvoy for Xavier or recast for
I say
Xavier, either
recast
one.
completely.
Yeah, I'm good with either one. Like, as long as if they do use McAvoy, I want it to be very clear that they've broken continuity with the old X-Men movies. You know, that they're like, yep, he looks like McAvoy, but we're not beholden to Dark Phoenix or X-Men Apocalypse or any of that crap.
That's why I want somebody completely new.
Yeah,
Because
to make
I
it
don't want
even more clear.
I don't want anything with the Fox. If they want to have like more multiverse stuff with them, that's fine. But
Mhm.
the MCU proper X-Men, I want them to be completely stand on their own.
Yeah,
And I
Earth
love Patrick
616.
Stewart.
Yeah.
I love Patrick Stewart. He's amazing. He is Professor X. He's almost 90, and it's starting to show a bit,
Yeah.
you know? And
He can't carry it going
yeah,
forward.
I don't, move on. He
Yeah.
had Logan was a great ending for him, and it was really cool to see him in this.
Yeah. Fuck
But,
you, Logan.
let's move on. Let's move on from that. But
Yeah,
yeah, no,
I
it was
agree.
that was fucking awesome. The whole the scene where they Xavier shows him what happens to that world's strange with Black
Mhm.
Bolt saying I'm sorry, and that's the thing that kills him. That was fucking perfect. That was
Yeah,
comic book perfect.
it was good stuff. I liked it,
Yeah.
like, and I do like I feel like the theme of Strange himself being such a threat is good.
Mhm.
Like, and that but I feel like it was so it was good, and I do like, the payoff in the end that he has to be something else, because I do like that as a story. It's like you are like so Strange is the strategist, the cold calculator, and that's needed. But I do like the stories that are like, yes, this is what you are. But in this instance, can you be something else?
Mhm.
Like this time it's the cold calculus is not what's required. This time you should operate off your heart.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like I do like that, except for, well, again, we'll talk about that when we get to the climax. Um, so I liked Xavier. I like seeing Patrick Stewart again. I love the Shi'ar wheelchair.
Yeah.
And you and I
Yeah.
both know that's Shi'ar technology.
Yeah.
That's not just,
Yeah.
that's not some Earth repulsor wheelchair he's on.
No, that was good
So
to see.
I like seeing the Shi'ar wheelchair. That was cool. I'd like to see the Shi'ar someday as well. Um, and I liked Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, but I will confess, when she started fighting the Illuminati, from the minute Mr. Fantastic starts talking to her, I'm rooting for Wanda. like I'm like, just take these chumps down. Cause like as
And she did.
Black Bolt's kind of cool, but like I don't care, like so much. Like I didn't
Most
never
people
read the
don't.
Inhumans, like I so yeah, I was just like, yeah, take these knockoffs down.
I like Black Bolt. I've read some good Inhumans books. I thought there's something wonky about the mask. I liked that they had it, but there was something wonky about it. I don't know if it was just a CG mask that they put on him
Mhm.
after the fact. There was so much CG in that stuff because they clearly weren't together at
Mm.
all. These were like, probably COVID restrictions. I get it, schedule problems because of COVID. And so like there was somebody
But it does
here,
affect your suspension of disbelief. It
sure,
just
and
does.
you can tell, you can feel that they're like
Mhm.
you could feel that they weren't all together in the same room.
Yeah.
But so that kind of bothered me. But I thought the way she handled Black Bolt was fucking awesome. Even if like, he could have like probably blown off his like the skin off his mouth. It was just fucking cool to see that happen.
Yeah, that was great.
Mr.
What mouth?
Fantastic, the smartest person on earth, just kind of dumb there, the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god, it's like you're looking at like it's like when you think of the Marvel universe, you're like Bruce Banner, Charles Xavier, Reed Richards, and maybe T'Challa, depending on which incarnation we're talking about, are the four, greatest minds in the world, and Reed Richards sets Wanda up for a snappy one-liner instead of
Yeah,
taking her down.
yeah, yeah, and then turns him into spaghetti. And it's just like, where's that big brain? Come on,
Yeah.
man. Come on. I know, like you have to. They had a goal in mind, and they just stuck to it. That
Yeah.
universe's Illuminati, not as good, not as smart as our 616 Illuminati could be.
It's
But
the
I hope.
Illuminati B team, yeah.
Yeah, they're very naive, very
Yeah.
naive, and like go.
Go ahead, go
Go.
ahead.
No, I was saying. I mean, I like Captain Marvel. I like Maria Rambeau is cool, whatever. But I mean, like, I don't give a fuck. Her being in it, I have no emotional connection to it, and more importantly, Wanda doesn't have any emotional connection to it. If the Illuminati had characters that she did care about, that would have given her pause. Like I saw somebody said, like, why isn't like a Pietro on that team? Why isn't Vision on that team? Because
Or at
that
least
would be,
Hawkeye.
yeah, somebody that she knows. Because like Hawkeye was like a father figure to her in that, and it's like no, where there's nothing, and it just kind of like I needed that kind of like emotional something that would give Wanda pause because she has no pause until the very end of the movie, and that's just kind of like meh.
Mm,
But it was
yeah,
really cool to see John Krasinski.
yeah.
That's
Well,
my thing.
and I'll address another thing is like Peggy Carter is one of my favorite characters still.
Mhm.
I hate the concept of Captain Carter.
You really?
I hate it. I thought I would be down for it when I watched the
Hmm.
first What If episode, but it was
Yeah,
just like, okay, so I'm watching the same thing, but if Peggy did it instead of Steve, there's nothing to differentiate her except for she's Haley Atwell, who I love. Haley Atwell's amazing. Like,
yeah.
but I'm just like, it's just so like it's such a massive shrug compared to how awesome Peggy's character is as
Mm,
Peggy. You know,
yeah,
she didn't need the super soldier serum. Steve only needed the super soldier serum because he was in an asthmatic body when he was meant to be Captain America. Peggy
yeah,
was already physically badass as a woman.
yeah.
Like, you know, and like it's a little I'm having a stronger reaction than it deserves, but I felt like it was just eh. And like when she throws her shield at Strange in the very beginning,
Oh yeah,
I
why?
feel
There's
like
no reason for it.
there's no
It's for a
reason for it.
trailer
It's like,
moment. It's a
yeah, I'm
trailer.
like,
Yeah,
it's like I don't care. Like you painted a British flag on the vibranium shield, and you're establishing that you're. Yeah, I don't care. Like there was no reason for that. You pulled me out of the moment because I'm a little too story conscious to care. Yeah, that
I,
you
see,
did that.
I like the character. I like the idea of it as an alternate universe take.
I mean,
I
I
get.
guess
I agree
if
with
they,
you. Like she's just does what Steve does, but you
mhm.
know, Hallie
I,
Atwell.
yeah. Again, I adore Haley Atwell.
Yeah.
Like you know, I kind of think she's gonna kill me if she ever knows that I said this on my YouTube channel. But I kind of feel like if you took Deborah Ann Wall and mashed her together with Haley Atwell, you get Michelle, my wife. So
That's fair. Yeah.
those two actresses are kind of two of my favorite actresses for maybe obvious reasons. But legitimately, aside from thinking they're gorgeous women, they do a great job with their roles.
Yeah.
It's one of those examples of if you're gonna do it, do it. You know, I feel like they dipped their toe in it for a multiverse thing, and for some reason it was not enough and too much for me. Like it just hit in a wrong space
Hmm.
for me. Both and I'm bringing in baggage from What If as well because I
Yeah.
just thought that episode was very meh.
Yeah.
You know, overall, there was only really one episode of What If that I really liked after it was all said and done, and that wasn't one of them. So,
Yeah. I mean, I disagree on the character as Captain Carter as a whole in the movie. I think
mm,
they were all wasted at it, but I mean, they were. It wasn't about them.
yeah,
Unfortunately,
I know.
we want more of that, but it's not. You
Yeah.
know.
I definitely want more Peggy. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I want Peggy like, you know what I want? I want Peggy Carter as proto Nick Fury. Like, I
Mm,
want to see the spy master Peggy Carter in the
yeah.
Cold War. Like, and we got some of that with Agent Carter, but the second season took a nosedive,
Yeah.
you know. I
Major.
thought the first season was pretty good.
Yeah.
Uh,
It was all right.
Um, but like I would love to see like again, like Cold War, you know, like this is a great time to bring in Wolverine.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
that's a
That'd be
great time
awesome.
to great time to bring
Well,
in Logan.
yeah, she was
And
running the Ant-Man and the Wasp at the time at some point, so
yeah,
that would've been cool.
lots of options.
Yeah.
I'm okay with de-aging technology. You
Yeah.
can have Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer and whoever we cast as Logan,
Yeah.
and whoever we cast as Braddock,
Yeah.
Psylocke's brother.
Yeah.
Captain Britain is always Psylocke's brother to me because
Yeah.
I love Psylocke.
I mean, he
But
is. Yeah, that's a British guy.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
no, so like that's like I feel like that's like touches on everything with the Illuminati. It's a lot of waste. One thing that was cool, and this is like, it felt like when I watched it, like, it felt very minor, but it's a major thing. That like the minute he was like, you caused an incursion. Your other side, like the incursions are fucking huge in the comics.
yeah,
Massive. And like if they're building to Secret Wars, which is like what they've talked about for like a while, and
yeah,
like a massive multiversal thing, the
yeah,
incursions are what leads the way to that because the world's just colliding and destroying each other.
yeah,
That's major shit. So
yeah, and they seem to be
that's cool.
setting that up.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, do you think the Russos will come back for it? Because
They
that's what
said
they
if they were going
said.
to come back, they said they'd come back for Secret Wars.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And like I don't know, that is the one instance of me being kind of okay with maybe them pulling Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, and Scarlett Johansson back in if they can. You
I
know that
yeah, that's fine. I think Chris Evans should come back at some point anyway because
yeah.
they
But
left
there's
him
got to
up
be
in
a
the air.
cooling off period,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine. Let the other
Yeah.
characters shine for a bit, but you got to
Yeah.
bring him back at some point because
Yeah.
you can't. He's not dead.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's like, we don't know where he's on the moon.
Yeah.
Like they got to fucking answer
I
that
feel like
question
they've
at
got
some
to have
point.
him on a moon base now.
Yeah,
Like,
I
they've
mean,
got to make that real.
yeah, I mean, it's a good guess.
Yeah.
But and again, a multiversal thing for the movie called Multiverse of Madness. There was like 2.5 multiverse worlds,
Well, one
and
of
then
them
they
was
did
a
like that little
destroyed
fucking
horror mansion.
yeah. That
Does that even count?
that's my that we'll get to that I guess soon. But like that's my other major problem with the movie besides Wanda's, you know, disregarding stuff from WandaVision. But like it's you followed, and unfortunately, because this was supposed to come before Spider-Man,
Yeah.
but you followed Spider-Man that had 3 actors that everybody loves, even though everybody's forgiven Andrew Garfield for making Spider-Man at this point.
Andrew Garfield is one of my man crushes, bro.
He's
He is
awesome.
so good in
No,
everything.
he had a
Yeah.
great year. He's had a
Yeah.
really good year.
Yeah.
But so you had all that. You had all the villains from the multiverse, and like so all that multiversal action, and then you have the Multiverse of Madness movie, which I was expecting. Everybody was expecting like massive amounts of worlds. We got 2,
Yeah.
and then the mansion that was
Yeah.
the incursion world.
And that's maybe my point too, is like because we only got, let's be real, we got one.
Yeah,
Like we got one other universe,
yeah,
and we spent just enough time there to know we didn't get enough time there.
yeah,
And whereas if they'd done 3, maybe 4, it probably wouldn't have stood out as much because it would have just been like
yeah,
on to the next thing. But because they were like, no, we gotta marinate here. It's like, yeah, you've marinated, but they're still knockoff versions of characters we like better.
yeah,
Like, and it just falls flat. And you gave us a little bit of what we want. You put it very well the other day when we were chatting about it offline, when you said, I've got X-Men blue balls, right?
yeah, yeah.
It's
They
like,
don't even say the word mutant. They just want to hear it. You
yeah,
know, say it.
and I
Fucking say it.
say it, and I want to hear that Wanda's a mutant. God
Yeah.
damn it!
I
Like,
thought I every like in WandaVision, I thought they were going to say it at one point. I thought like Agatha was going to be like, "Oh, I know what you are. You're a mutant." I was like, "Oh,
mhm.
fantastic! I love it."
Or
Nothing.
your mutant
Xavier.
genetics have overfed your magical powers or
Yeah,
something.
something.
Mhm.
Xavier. No, nothing.
She's one of ours. Like,
Yes,
even if you didn't
anything.
say mutant,
A little
some
bit. Yeah,
acknowledgement.
anything.
Ugh.
A little bit.
I'm,
They're gonna
I'm
do
with
it
you.
eventually, but I don't know when because we got. It's not gonna happen in Thor. If it happens in Thor, my mind will be fucking
Weird,
blown. And
weird.
then we got Black Panther. I guess you could if Namor's really in it. You could,
I mean,
but that
Namor
would be a weird start.
is the second or third mutant after Unsaba Nur and
Yeah,
some of the others, but I don't know.
I don't know. You could,
Yeah, you
but
could.
I don't know where it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna wait patiently.
I mean, I guess in Fantastic Four, you could also introduce the mutants, maybe.
Yeah,
Like, I'm kind of disturbed that John Watts is no longer attached to Fantastic Four because I feel like he did a great job with the Spider-Man trilogy.
he really did. He did.
Yeah.
I heard, and everything's rumors, but like I
Mhm.
heard that he wasn't really attached to Fantastic Four,
Mm.
and that they just said he was
Mhm.
because they have him like they were negotiating his contract for more Spider-Man movies, and John Krasinski was going to direct Fantastic Four all along and be in
Oh.
it.
Oh, is Krasinski going to be the director?
I heard a rumor that he might be.
Oh, okay.
And
Well,
like,
that's
but they
interesting.
didn't want to say that because they didn't want to announce the casting. But I don't know if any of that's real. Everything is fucking
Well, let's
internet
just
talk.
thank God that Krasinski got cast in 13 hours.
Yeah,
So he worked out enough to be a superhero.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
now he's there.
yeah. Now
And
he's
he's had
there.
enough time. He's been Jack Ryan enough so that don't just see him as Jim from The Office.
Yeah, I watched the first season of Jack Ryan. I liked it pretty well. I didn't watch the second season,
I mean,
for
I
reasons that
want
are
to.
flagrantly political, and I'm not going to get into on the channel.
Okay. I don't even know
I'll go
anything
ahead.
about
I'll
the
go ahead and
series.
sidestep that minefield.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So yeah, like we're into. We talked about the Illuminati again. I'm with you. I did Maria Rambo. I didn't care one way or another. Captain Carter. I love Peggy Carter, but I didn't like this iteration of Captain Carter. It's not like
Mm.
I hate the idea so much that I would never entertain a good version of it. I just
Yeah.
haven't seen a good version of it yet.
That's fair.
But then we move on and we have the chase through the tunnels, and like they stop at the last
Yeah.
pressure door. Like, that one's gonna stop her for
Yeah.
what reason?
For Sam Raimi reasons.
For Sam Raimi
That's why.
reasons. Oh,
for that jump scare. That's
we
it.
forgot the Bruce Campbell cameo.
Yeah.
I was
And
happy to see there was one. Yeah,
I was happy he was in it, but I was like, that's a lame kind of cameo for him,
a little
considering
bit.
the other parts he's had. But I mean, it falls in line with his Spider-Man cameos, I guess.
Yeah,
He's
I
just
kind
somebody that
of
gets in the way of the hero for a minute.
yeah, I do like that it's a Sam Raimi movie, so Bruce Campbell's there. You know,
Yeah,
like I
yeah,
do like
definitely.
that being a thing.
Yeah,
Um, I've liked that ever since Xena when he was Autolycus
yeah,
and the King of Thieves in
yeah.
Xena. Like he's been one of my favorites, and Briscoe County Jr. and
Oh, that was a great show.
that was a good show. It was a really good
Yeah,
show. Underrated by far.
definitely.
So then we get into like the haunted mansion, evil Doctor Strange stuff, and I I'm torn because I'm like I give you credit for trying to do something fun and original with the musical duel.
I thought that was cool.
I thought it was
Visually,
cool. It was
visually really
cool.
nice looking.
Overall, I come down on a positive side of it.
Yeah.
Like I wish they'd had a little more time for it with the
Mhm.
visual effects and everything. But overall, I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool. You
Yeah.
know, like good job, guys.
I think by and large the magic in the movie was fun and cool and good stuff. The fight
Yeah.
against the one-eyed, the not
Mhm.
not I forget the name of the fucking, they don't even name the creature. What its
Yeah.
name is really Gargantua or what, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
But that fight and Wong is great in the whole movie. We didn't talk about Wong, but he's great.
Yeah, Wong is always good. Wong is always value added.
Yeah,
He's pretty fun.
yeah. But the
Um,
magic fight was really cool,
yeah,
I thought. But
all the
I just
magic fighting was really good. Yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
I just don't care about the Sinister Strange's motivation. You know, he went home with a sad and started reading the Darkhold. The evil book made him evil again. That's stupid. That is that is just stupid. That might piss me off more than the Wanda thing, because this guy is supposed to be like, he caused, an incursion on his world, and it's just because he was sad and he just decided to fuck with other Doctor Stranges, I guess.
And sad because he wasn't with Christine, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
which I'm like,
Yeah,
bro, like I'm pretty romantic. I believe in true love. I really
yeah,
do. But if you're doing that kind of shit, it's not love.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like it's if it's leading you to do dark, evil shit, it's
It's
not love.
leading you to destroy worlds. You're
Yeah,
not.
not a
But
thing.
yeah, no, I thought that was just, and it's such a, it's at the end, like towards the end of the movie. He's not the main villain, and his like motivations are stupid, and it's just, no, fuck that. You had an evil, strange kind of thing in What If, and if you
Yep.
brought that guy into it, at least the audience of What If would be like, ah, it's cool, following through. And
Was he
that,
supposed to be the same one?
no,
You don't think so?
no,
Okay.
because this guy was like, he came home from the wedding, and he was
Uh,
sad, and like the one in the What
you're
If,
right. He very
she just kept
explicit.
dying.
Yeah, you're right. They very explicitly said he came back from Christine's wedding, whereas the What If one, and that is actually the only episode of What If that really held up well for me
Yeah,
after the show. That I was like, no, that was good. That was good fiction. Good job, guys. Um, yeah,
it's
no, I agree with
that,
you.
that's
Like
just a
cool
waste.
musical duel, but I agree with you. I'm like, this is so low stakes
Yeah,
emotionally. Like this is just a hurdle for him to get over. Like let's move on.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was not. I'm not a fan of that. Any of
Yeah.
that character.
Yeah, I agree with you. Speaking of the magic, I did actually really like Zombie Strange
Yeah, that was
and
cool.
him having to use necromancy, like to and like the way that I like that visual portrayal, even though it's a ton of CGI. I like the visual
Yeah,
portrayal of him with all the dark spirits attacking Wanda. You know, I thought that was
uh,
pretty awesome.
yeah. But that CG was better than the CG in the Illuminati scene to try to make it look like they were in the same room. So
By far,
fuck
by
that.
far, I
But
agree.
that I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, so I like,
Wundagore Mountain, cool. I mean,
but no high
just the name of
evolutionary.
it,
Yeah,
nothing to do with the comics, nothing to do with the comics. But the
but
fact
one.
that they like brought it up with Scarlet Witch, I thought was like, that's cool. Comics,
Yeah, but Wundagore matters to the
yeah,
To the Maximoff twins kind
yeah,
of a lot, right?
yeah,
Like this was our chance to hint at, oh, there was a man who dropped you off with
yeah,
the parents you knew. Like this was, and that man could move metal with his mind because
yeah.
he's fucking Magneto, and you're the
Wouldn't
royal family
that
of mutants, and let's
wouldn't
set up
that have been
House of
nice?
M.
Yeah, that would have been cool, but that's not
Yeah.
where they're at because they won't say the mutant word.
No, I know that they would have a lot more homework to do before they're
Yeah.
there. I get that, but House of M is one of my favorite
Yeah.
storylines of the 21st century.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so like in the finale, like I liked the visual effects. I liked Strange using necromancy, and then coming back to America and her powers. I don't think the power was within you all along was earned.
Yeah.
You
No.
know, like
Definitely
I just I don't like I don't buy the sometimes it like there are stories I can think of where I'm like, no, I do like that. You know, it worked okay in this one, but in this time, the just believe in yourself harder,
Yeah.
strategy, and it's a mixed bag because I'm like, I do appreciate that they were showing like, oh, Strange, it's not the time to be the cold, calculating, arrogant strategist.
Hmm.
It's the time to take a leap of faith on someone.
Yeah.
Only it was a bad leap of faith, like in my
Yeah.
opinion. Like
I mean,
it
it
only,
worked because it had to for the movie to end.
yeah, and like I feel like that's bad when you can feel that.
Yeah.
When you can like it's okay, like we all know it's fiction, right? What happens is because the writers say it happens,
Yeah.
but you shouldn't feel like that
Yeah.
watching it.
No.
Like it should create the illusion of, oh no, that is what happened because
Yeah.
that's what would happen.
Yeah.
Like rather than she believed in herself enough because the screenwriter said she believed in herself enough.
I mean that's all it was. That's it.
Yeah. It's
That's
like
it.
she hasn't conquered anything. She hasn't built her confidence.
No.
She hasn't shown some burgeoning mastery of what she can do. No development, just hey, you could control it all along, America.
You're right. And then there's the portal to that world.
Yeah.
Right where it needs to be.
Yeah, and kudos to her for, thinking of like, all right, like for kids freak out when they see her, maybe she'll, you know, like finally get herself together and stop, which okay, great. But what if she lost her shit and just killed Wanda and those kids?
Yeah. Yeah. Plenty other worlds you should just go to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And furthermore, since we've established that, or not established, but we assume that the Darkhold is what's pushing her to do stuff Wanda wouldn't normally do.
Mhm.
What if the Darkhold in that moment of weakness pushes her to just fully go complete
Yeah.
Anakin Skywalker and start slaughtering the younglings?
Yeah.
Yeah, the climax of the movie, and the biggest problem is I was thinking all of this while I was watching it.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
not stuff I thought about in the car afterwards. Like I was
Yeah.
sitting there like,
Yeah. If they gave you that time to like
yeah,
think of it on the spot, that's not a good sign.
yeah, they didn't
Yeah.
pass the Hitchcock test.
Yeah. 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 It's kind of meh. And like that whole thing with, it's like, oh, she sees that, Wanda is gonna take care of her kids and she's not gonna kill her. It's like, and then she just brings a mountain down on herself. I mean, I guess at that point with the Wanda story that they've been telling, like, all right, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah,
Whatever.
except for we like two things. Wanda better not be dead.
No,
Like,
I mean, I hope not. And there's
yeah,
plenty. You don't see a body,
yeah,
then
you don't see a body, so we kind of know she's not dead.
yeah,
And also she better not be dead.
yeah,
Like, because like that character was way better than to end like that.
yeah,
Like that was so like if that was an ending, that was a lame ass ending.
yeah, definitely.
And we know it wasn't the ending, so it was a lame ass ending.
Yeah,
Like I don't like that.
yeah, me
I
either.
know death is malleable in comics, and it always has been. The only person who stays dead is Gwen Stacy. Only
Yeah,
not anymore.
yeah.
But
Uncle Ben.
yeah, Uncle Ben stays dead.
Yeah,
It's the only person in comics who stays dead. But that kind of thing when they make it so obvious when they're like, "Oh, she's dead." She's not really.
it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. It's okay, kids. She'll be back in Avengers 5. Don't worry. I'm like,
Yeah, nah, I feel that.
it just does not work for me. I do like okay, so when we get into the not the epilogue post credits, but the epilogue of the movie, the marrying and the burying, as Mark Twain called it in his novels. Like I do like when Strange bows to Wong.
Mhm.
Like I do
Yeah,
like I like that. That's like okay, that's good character development. That
yeah,
Strange has learned a little bit of humility and modesty, and realizes that Wong does deserve his respect. Cool.
yeah,
I'm down with that. The fact that America's just there training to be a sorcerer, I'm like, Is that her power? I thought she had her own magic, but her own power.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. She
And
punches
really,
holes in the worlds.
yeah. And
That's
why
it.
isn't Ned there? I mean, really, you set that up. Why don't we have a cameo from Ned? Come on.
Yeah,
Like you
'cause
like
Ned forgot, I guess. I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
They gotta clarify that at some point, what
That's an
Ned remembers.
yeah, that's an unfired Chekhov sling ring right
Yeah,
there. Like
yeah,
so I didn't like that. I mean, like, not so much that there wasn't a Ned cameo, although I think that would have been pretty cool. Like, I just was like, what? She's just gonna train to be because you don't know what else to do with her,
yeah,
so she's there.
yeah, pretty much.
Um, and then I guess that's about it. Like, I like him fixing the watch and putting it away. Like,
Mhm.
I was like, all right, cool,
Yeah,
awesome. Good closure on the Christine relationship. I can respect that.
yeah,
Um, and then we're pretty much at the end of the movie
yeah,
at that point, right? I
yeah.
think.
He goes into he's kinda, puts the watch away and goes in the street and then hears
And then
music.
the
It's like, that's the worst fucking special effects in the movie for me.
yeah.
Worse than the
So
Illuminati. That fucking eye. They
yeah,
have to do better than that. How do you not do better than that?
you're
I can do
Disney.
that. I can go like on my just fucking premiere like right now, and I can give myself a fucking eye right here, and I know nothing about special effects. Do better than that. That
Right?
is bad, bad. And then like now they're showing like 'cause it's like been 2 weeks or whatever, so now they're showing like stills from like the end of the movie with him and Claire, and like they show a still of this. I'm like, don't. Why are you doing that? That's embarrassing. It's like you should not be proud of that.
And so does the appearance of his third eye like, at first, like, for a split second, I'll confess to being confused because I was like, is that like a admission that Dark Strange won over, or is it just now that he's developed his third eye? Like, what is that supposed to mean?
I
Like,
think it's like he's like semi corrupted now, you know.
mm, okay.
And I don't think it's like a third eye, like a good third eye. I think it's like
Yeah.
he
Well,
touched the dark hole. Even if the dark hole's not there, he still went to the dark side a bit. So
yeah.
now he's
He
got more of a
practiced
dark side.
necromancy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's what that's all about. Well, we'll see. They just kind of threw it in there. Yeah.
Yeah. And then at the very end, in the post credits, we get Charlize Theron is now a part of the MCU,
Yeah.
which I'm great with.
Yeah.
It's like the Harry Styles cameo, although I'm more excited about Charlize Theron. I like her better than I like
Yeah.
Harry Styles.
Yeah. Me too.
But I'm like, okay, she's
Yeah.
in the MCU.
Yeah. It's such like I know who Claire is. You know who Claire is, I assume.
Yeah.
So many people don't
I
know who
remember the
Claire
comic
is.
where she got seduced by Ben Franklin.
There you go. I do not.
Go
I
look
gotta
that
go
up.
back.
That's
I
a
gotta find it
thing.
now. I gotta
That
find
is
it
a
out.
thing.
It's my nighttime reading. But
You're
it's yeah.
welcome.
Thank you. But like a lot of people don't know who she is, so it kind of fell flat for a bunch of people.
Mhm.
And it's Charlize Theron. It's like a huge cameo. It's just out of nowhere. It's like there she's here now.
I mean, I guess
And
that's a strong indicator they're investing in the Doctor Strange sub-franchise since
yeah,
they bought Charlize Theron for it.
yeah. You can't just like introduce Charlize Theron in a movie like that and then not pay it off. I think, and there's a character called Black Swan in Hickman's Avengers run, which if you haven't read, you should read it. Leads up to his Secret Wars. It's fucking great. And she
Mhm.
was like an alienish kind of character who knew about the incursion. She knew more about the incursions, and she told the Avengers about it, and she tried to help them figure out a way to keep their world safe.
Mhm.
And I think if they use her, Claire, as like that kind of character, I think that could be a really cool change from the comics because
Yeah.
otherwise I don't see what they're gonna really do too much with it. But
Yeah. Yeah, I gotcha. So, oh, and then we have at the very end, reference back to
it's
Evil
over.
Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah.
Um,
It's funny. Stupid, but funny.
yeah, I was good. I was okay with it. Like that
Yeah.
sort of thing, I have a lot of tolerance for.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, okay, cool, gotcha. I love Bruce Campbell. I love Sam Raimi, so I'm
Yeah.
here for that. So yeah, overall, like I'd say that was. I'm glad it's there, but I do kind of wish it was better.
Mhm.
Like
Oh, yeah.
I'm not. I enjoyed it, but I'm like, gosh, guys, like, and again, it's like it's the part that doesn't cost you $1 billion. It's the writing.
Mhm.
Like it's like these actors cost you millions of dollars and these visual effects cost you millions of dollars. That's never what's really holding you back as the MCU. It's the writing.
Yeah.
You know, take some more time, workshop the story, go with something, you know, don't like you're not going to reinvent the wheel with every movie, and that's fine, but like try to really think about what's the most satisfying option. Like I pointed out earlier, like you set up the idea that Wanda thought her children were in danger or
Yeah.
suffering. So much more powerful than just I want to murder another version of me and take her kids.
Yeah.
You know, it's so much more understandable.
Yeah. No.
Missed opportunities like that just really bother me when we're dealing with a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Yeah.
You know,
And they seem to do it a lot, and you don't have to. Like
yeah.
that's like we're not gonna we're not gonna talk about the end of Moon Knight, but the Moon Knight like
I
after the
mean, we
fact,
can briefly, but yeah,
everybody knows how we feel. We haven't
yeah,
changed how we feel, I don't think. But like after the show ended, the showrunner and the creators, directors, whatever, they went on interviews and they were like, "Well, we thought about doing this, but we didn't, and we filmed this, but we didn't put it in the movie." Like, why? Everything you're saying sounds better than what you did. Fuck you.
yeah.
You
No
know,
shit.
who told you
Well,
not to do those things?
yeah. Well, and it's like it goes back to the Ryan Johnson, like, oh, well, that's what you were expecting, so I didn't
Yeah.
do it. It's like I was expecting a good, like that's what I was expecting, and you didn't
Yeah.
deliver.
Yeah.
Like, bugs the shit out of me. I'm like I get it. Like so for instance, I'll take like, and this is a rant from way back in the day now, but like two movies that came out in quick succession, Black Panther and Infinity War, right? Black Panther was not surprising at all. Every bit of the plot was pretty freaking predictable. It was still a great movie.
Mhm.
Infinity War was actually pretty goddamn surprising.
Yeah.
You know, they kill Loki in the first few minutes. Like the heroes lose, just straight up lose. Like it's not a stalemate. It's not a, you know, like it's not a like some give and take and Thanos is still out there for the second half. It's like, no, Thanos just wins.
Yeah.
And like it's a very surprising movie. So what I take from those two movies is it is not the determiner of how good your story is, whether it shocks the audience or not.
Nope.
You know, like it can be totally surprising and be a great story. It
Mhm.
can be very predictable and still be very satisfying.
Yeah.
Do a good story. First, foremost, and above all else, your audience will forgive you a lapse in CGI. They will
Sure.
forgive you if they saw something coming, as long as it's satisfying. So, like writers getting obsessed with like, oh, I want to do something no one will predict. It's like, stop. You
No
know,
one will
like
see it coming if I kill Professor X again. It only
you know, and
happened
it's like
3 other times.
it's because they're not hungry. You know,
Yeah.
like it's like you and I are like trying to make a living. Like we both have day jobs. We're trying to be creatives in the time we have after work. And it's like we work so damn hard on our craft, and then these guys who have all the resources in the world, you know, put out movies that clearly do not have the thought put into them that they should.
Yeah.
And like even though I enjoyed a lot of it and I enjoyed the performances and thought several elements of it were cool, it still kind of pisses me off.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, you could have done better. Like, you got to do better, Disney.
They do. I mean, they do. They do.
Mhm.
I mean, like I would say, Spider-Man: No Way Home is at the top of this phase so far.
Yeah,
Then
best
for
movie of
me,
this phase easily.
I think at this point, Shang-Chi,
Agreed.
then Doctor Strange, then Eternals, then Black Widow. That's my order right
Eternals
now.
and Black Widow, I feel like I'm going to put Black Widow above Eternals, but that's not like a passionate opinion. I'm putting Black Widow
Okay,
above Eternals for Florence Pugh, even though
that's fair.
she's also part of what's wrong with
Mhm.
Black Widow in a way, because it's, you know, like this movie is clearly getting Scarlett Johansson out of the MCU and bringing in a new Black Widow replacement, but Florence Pugh is ridiculously
No, she was great.
charismatic, so
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
Yeah, and like
her and what's his name were the best parts of that movie. The
Red Guardian,
Red Guardian.
David I keep saying Lance Harbor. I keep saying Lance Harbor from Varsity Blues.
Yeah, no. That's the best part of the movie. Taskmaster was shit.
Yeah,
Taskmaster was an embarrassment of a.
So
I mean, that alone keeps me out of the.
yeah,
keeps
I'm
that
with
movie
you.
at the bottom.
and I get that he's a deep cut character for people like you and me that like read the comics, but he's a cool character.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they completely botched her in the movie so poorly. I'm playing the Spider-Man PS4 game right now. Well,
Okay.
my son I actually bought it for my son, and he played it all the way through. So now I'm taking up sloppy seconds.
Nice.
And they do a better job with Taskmaster in this video game by far than they did in the movie.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was really bad. That
it
was
was
really
terrible.
bad.
So yeah, I know this is the end of the video, and not everyone will have made it this far. But just being honest with you guys,
If you have,
we're not doing a Moon Knight finale
yeah,
episode. Go, Sam. You said it very well before we started recording. Go watch the pitch meeting. They cover
yeah,
most of what we think
yeah,
on Moon Knight, on the
yeah.
finale of Moon Knight.
And if that's not enough, just watch our other episodes where we talked about the rest of the season, and
Yeah,
that's where we kind of fall.
yeah,
Nothing really happened that made me go, "Oh wow, I changed my mind. It's great."
yeah, yeah. No, I totally agree. And coming up, so what's coming up in the future? Ms. Marvel may be the first Marvel property I don't even try, and that's because they've been really honest with their advertising.
Yeah,
They made it very clear, like we're going for a demographic, and you
it's
39
not
year old
you.
dude is this is not your demographic. So I may try it, but if I do try it and I don't like it, I'm not going to publish an angry rant about it. They were at least honest
Yeah.
about who they're trying to get. So more power to them. She-Hulk, I hope, is good.
Yes,
I
trailer. I like the trailer.
I like the trailer.
CG needs work for me, but
CG
other
needs
than that,
work.
I like it. I like the tone. I like the characters
Yeah,
and
I
the
like a
actress.
lot of the humor. It's maybe her attitude is maybe a little Sex in the City for me, but Tatiana Maslany is, my God, like carried Orphan Black on her back for 5
Yeah,
seasons. You know, like she's so amazing.
yeah,
I'm definitely going to give anything with her in it a chance. So I hope it's real good. Like
yeah. Me too.
I hope it's real good. I'm looking forward to that. And then Thor: Love and Thunder. The teaser didn't really catch me, but I liked the longer trailer a lot. Like I thought
Yeah,
that looked like a lot of fun.
I like both. I thought both were fun. I'm
I,
bored. I don't think it's. I'm not expecting anything more than a fun movie. You
yeah,
know.
well, I hope it's as good as Ragnarok, right? And I
Yeah,
really liked Ragnarok a lot.
yeah.
Like, so I'm hoping they maintain that level with Thor.
I think they will.
And I hope they don't, like, I'm good with Thor being the butt of the joke some of the time, but like I hope they don't clown him too much.
Mm,
Like
yeah,
that's kind of my concern is they might be like, oh well, now he's the comic relief in his own movie and not the hero.
yeah. I
Um,
think we'll get a mix. I think we'll get a nice
yeah,
mix.
yeah. Again, no problem with the joke being on him.
Mm,
Some of the time, like that's fun, but Fat Thor was I'm more kind to it now than I
yeah,
was when I first saw it, but
yeah.
I'm still not fully down with it.
I'm okay with it now. I wasn't
Yeah,
at first. My first viewing, I was like, this is stupid. Now I'm like, I get it.
yeah.
I get it. I've gained weight too.
I mean, me
So,
too, but I'm not an
yeah,
Asgardian.
that's fair. You gotta
But
drink
like I
and eat a
said,
lot.
and furthermore, I came to realize the writing decision was made from a place of honesty.
Yeah,
Like watching it further and hearing the Russos and McFeely talk about it, I'm like, okay, no, I can see that. It may not be where I wanted it to go, but at least
yeah,
they were trying. It wasn't completely so Rhodey could make jokes about Cheese Whiz,
yeah.
and Tony could make jokes about the Big Lebowski. It
No,
wasn't just that,
no,
it was a big deal.
yeah.
So yeah,
A lot of stuff on the way.
yeah, on the way. Again, like, so I think Multiverse of Madness, the reason I'm a little upset is because like I feel like the only true knock it out of the park project that's happened since the end of Endgame has been No Way Home. And usually Marvel would have a few more home runs by now with as much stuff as they've put out. Oh, and WandaVision. So
Yeah,
two. I feel like Marvel in a phase would normally have a little bit more to show for it,
mm,
this far on. So I'm still like gritting my teeth a little bit, like, come on, guys, let's pick it up. But overall, glad it exists. Wish it was a little better. I'll probably watch it again
yeah,
when it comes out. Yeah,
yeah.
that's all I got.
I'm more forgiving than you. I
You
really
are.
like the
I appreciate
I
that
like
about
Far
you,
From
though.
Home. I like Far From Home a lot, and a lot of people don't like Far From Home, but I
Oh, I
really
like
like
Far From
that.
Home too. That's a fair
Yeah,
point.
that was still last phase, I think, but it was
Yeah,
after Endgame, so I
it
really
was
like
after
that.
Endgame.
I like Shang-Chi a lot, like way more than I thought I would. Like my
Yeah,
expectations for that were low, and they blew me away.
yeah,
Eternals, I like much more than you do. I know that,
a lot more.
and
Yeah.
I got to see it again. It's been a while. I got to see that again, and yeah, Spider-Man: No Way Home was fantastic.
No Way Home was fantastic.
Yeah,
I That's a fair point because I forgot to include Far From Home in the post Endgame MCU, and I really, 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 really like Far From Home. And I
yeah,
even they pulled a surprise that actually surprised me and was satisfying, which is kind of
yeah,
hard to do. Because like I feel like I was watching it and I was like, oh, Nick Fury is off. Well, the movie's
yeah,
good anyway.
yeah.
And then like when they like, and I maybe I'm just dumb and I should have realized it, but at the end when he's a scroll, I'm like, oh,
You know, that was a good reveal. That
good
was
job.
yeah,
Like
on
good
a lot of
job,
levels.
guys.
That was
Yeah.
really good.
Because the hints were subtle enough that I didn't immediately put it together,
Yeah,
but
and
enough to where it wasn't unearned.
it's set up a lot, so I'm excited to
Yeah, me too.
see what's going on with that.
All right, cool. So
Yeah.
I think we covered it all. Any last minute thoughts, Sam?
I'm fine with it. You know, I wish it was a little bit better. It has flaws. I can accept those flaws and still not really care too much about them. I thought one thing we didn't talk about was like the some of like the Raimiisms, like when she whispers in the one guy's ear and he runs away. That was awesome. When she
Yeah.
goes through the mirror and like the like
Oh,
that
yeah.
was like
When he tries to
the
trap her in the
reflections
mirror
and shit.
universe
Yeah,
and she uses that was a slick moment.
it's
You're right.
real good stuff. Real
Yeah,
good stuff with that. It's
that was
more. I
really
mean, that
good.
goes more to the magic stuff,
Mm.
but
Yeah,
uh,
and again, as a guy who plays a wizard in D&D every time, I definitely appreciated that part
yeah,
of the story.
yeah.
All right, cool. So
Yeah.
that's a wrap on Multiverse of Madness. Sam, what's coming out next? What's going on in your world? Where can people find you, and what would you like to let the people know you're working on?
In my world, I'm still dealing with my horror anthology. We got off as a Golden Door Film Festival. We were won some stuff. We got nominated for some stuff. I was nominated for Best
Awesome,
Director. It was a lot of fun.
badass.
We sold out our first screening. We had standing room only, which
Hmm.
was cool. And now we're going to be in Jersey City again. We're going to be at the Brightside Tavern for the Jersey City Horror Film Festival on June 12th. It's a Sunday.
Okay,
So that's
awesome.
pretty cool. And it's at a bar, so you can get drunk and watch the movie again. And then we're at Gen Con in August, which should be fun.
So
Looking forward to
jealous.
that.
So jealous. Thank
Yeah,
you for extending that invitation because I would love to, but I'll be out of vacation time at that point. But God,
no
I'm
problem,
so
man.
jealous. Tell Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman if you meet them that I'm crying on the inside
It's a
for not
plan.
being.
It's a
What's
plan.
that?
It's a plan. We got tickets to their panel for the new book, so should be good.
God, I'm
Fun.
like, is there any way I can make that work? I'm so jealous of you. So yeah, if you can make it June 12th to that was the Golden Door,
No,
or
Golden
you
Door.
already
We
did
just
the Golden
ended
Door.
Jersey City Horror Film Festival.
So if you can make it to June 12th to the Jersey City Horror Film Festival, get a chance to meet Sam and watch his movies and have a drink with him. If you're in Gen Con, look for my favorite ginger film director there. He'll be there, and I'll be there in spirit, if not physically. As always, links to Sam's stuff will be in the description below. That's all the time we have for Lauren Valor. I'll see you next time, and until then, keep up the fire. I didn't have the mouse positioned right to end the broadcast. Bye, folks.